Good evening, student. Today my topic is application of Gauss law. My first application is electric field intensity at point due to an infinitely charged wire. So in above diagram, this is the infinitely charged wire where positive charges are distributed on that wire. Let a point P, which is at a distance r from that wire. Now we have to calculate electric field intensity at point P due to a infinitely charged wire. So we assume a Gaussian surface, it like be a cylindrical surface whose length is L and radius is R. Okay, that cylinder which is passing through the point P. Here we write that consider a charged wire, a point P which is situated at a distance r from the charged wire. We have to calculate electric field intensity at that point. So we assume a Gaussian surface like be a cylindrical surface whose length L and radius R. That cylinder passing through the point P. Now the infinitely charged wire whose linear charge density is lambda. Here we write now that lambda which is equal to charge per unit length of that infinitely charged wire. Here in above diagram, the some portion of that infinitely charged wire which is placed inside the cylinder, therefore the charge placed inside the cylinder is given by, which is written as given by charge equal to linear charge density, that is lambda, into length of that wire which is placed inside the cylinder. Equation number 1. According to Gauss law, surface integral of electric field intensity, that is surface integral of E dot ds, which is equal to total charge per epsilon naught. That means the total electric field lines linked to that surface which is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times total charge enclosed that surface. So here in above diagram, the cylinder has consist of number of segments. First portion, this one is the area 1, second one is this is the area 2, and third one is the curved area. So the electric field intensity due to three surface area, here we write for first surface the area whose area vector perpendicular to that area, like in that direction, that can be represented ds1 vector, and the electric field intensity which is radially outward due to line charge. Okay, here positive charges are there, so that's why the electric field intensity moves outward direction, and that electric field intensity perpendicular to that area vector by create an angle that is theta equal to 90 degree. Similarly, in second surface, the second surface whose orientation or area vector also perpendicular to that area, that can represent ds2 vector, and the electric field intensity is which is acting along radially outward due to positive charge, and it can be represented as a E vector, and there is an angle between ds2 and E vector is given by theta equal to 90 degree. If we assume in third surface, that is the curved surface, a small region which is considered so that the orientation of that small surface acting normal, or that is area vector represented as a ds3 vector, and electric field intensity is also along the direction of area vector. So there is an angle between E vector and ds3 is theta equal to 0 degree, because both electric field and area vector, that is ds3, parallel to each other, so theta equal to 0 degree. So that all these things can be represented as, here for first surface it can be represented as E vector dot ds1 vector, plus for second surface it can be represented as E vector dot ds2 vector. For third surface it can be represented E vector dot ds3 vector, which is equal to q by epsilon naught. For first surface, E vector and ds vector create an angle theta equal to 90 degree, so their magnitude is given by integration of E ds cos 90 degree, plus in second surface E vector and ds2 vector create an angle also 90 degree, so their magnitude is given by E ds cos 90 degree. But in third surface, electric field intensity and ds3 vector both are create an angle 0 degree, so their magnitude is given by E ds cos 0 degree, which is equal to q by epsilon naught. We know cos 90 is 0, that implies so total quantity becomes 0, plus second surface where cos 90 is 0, that is also 0 total quantity, plus in third surface cos 0 1, so it can be represented as E integration of E ds equal to q by epsilon naught. That implies integration of E ds equal to q by epsilon naught. We know in cylindrical Gaussian surface the radius of the curved path in each point remains constant, therefore electric field intensity which is generated at each point on that curved path remains constant. Okay, therefore electric field intensity taken in outside, then integration of ds, which is equal to q by epsilon naught. So here in that diagram there is the small surface that can be represented ds. Therefore in cylindrical Gaussian surface there are number of small surfaces are there, that's why they are adding, that adding is known as integration. So integration of small surfaces like as ds can be represented as total surface, which can be represented as also E into the integration of ds can be represented as s equal to q by epsilon naught. Now in above diagram, this is the cylinder. The area of the curved surface is given by circumference into length of the cylinder. Circumference is 2 pi r and length of the cylinder is L. So S can be represented as for total surface, that implies E into S means 2 pi r into L equal to q by epsilon naught. Here we write, that implies E equal to q by 2 pi r L epsilon naught. From equation 1, q can be represented lambda into L. So E equal to lambda L divided by 2 pi r L epsilon naught. Here L cancel out, that implies E equal to lambda divided by 2 pi r epsilon naught. Here in above expression, electric field intensity is inversely proportional to R, that is R. Now I draw a diagram, that is the graph between electric fields along y-axis and R along x-axis. So the graph is shown below. That means the graph represents if the radius or if the length of the point P from the infinitely charged wire is increases, then electric field intensity gradually decreases. Okay, that's why electric field intensity is inversely proportional to R. This is all about electric field intensity at point P due to infinitely charged wire. This is the first application of Gauss law. Thank you.